This week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet. Hello, fellow gamers. Welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhoundd and...
the Dr. Professor Admiral Gloryhogg.
You know, if we all do robot voices and stuff like that, then nobody will know if we're laggy or not.
That is true. There you go.
Yeah, that's all you have to do the entire time, and then we'll be fine. We'll be fine. This is fine. This is fine, everyone.
Sound like you're freaking out.
Welcome to our chat today. It looks like we have Ellen and Petter. We have Battlecry in chat as well. We have Ryan. Thank you so much. Games of Fire, thanks so much for joining us today. We always appreciate all of you here for our Kickstarter show. So
yeah, if you guys don't show up, it's just really awkward. Like, because then it's just us. Like,
us talking
I'm not
to
gonna lie.
ourselves.
We were doing a practice of a game yesterday, and as we were playing it, I was like, and then Battlecry said it was really weird. It was just weird to be making up fake comments during the middle of our play.
Hello, Dennis. How are you doing?
What is going on?
That's true. We actually we recorded Tang Garden, and during Tang Garden,
we had to
it was
restart it.
So weird not talking to all of you out there because we talked to all of you so much, and yeah, it was so weird, so weird.
If you're here for the awkward good, you found it. Just wait. If she leaves the room, it gets real weird because I don't know what to do with myself.
That was one of our better stopping moments where we were like, when things went off the rails. It's always good when things go off the rails.
It got a little weird.
It was a little weird. It's okay though. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine, everyone.
It's fine. So there's a lot of games this week. I just want to say that I kind of want a bunch of them. But...
I thought this was going to be a slow week, quotation marks slow.
But it is, though, as far as terms of people backing these games.
But...
none of these games are over 40K. It's 40K, 40K, and then, two that are lower.
But these games are, really, really good. And...
yeah, they're, underserved for some reason.
I'm going to tell you which one of these broke our no female reviewers streak, because this is the first week in, I think, 4 or 5 weeks where it's just been no female reviewers on any of these videos, and I was like, oh my god, people actually went out of their box and got different people to look at their games, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to tell you about those companies as well.
Yeah, I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's been a good 4 or 5 weeks, and I think I've mentioned it every show.
Now, are you looking at just reviewers, or are you looking at previewers too? Because Tantrum House does stuff, and it's usually a team.
No, well, I basically go down the list, and even if it's a team, I'll count it. But it's been 3 or 4 weeks where it's been nobody, not even Kira on Man vs. Meeple or anything. I was like, oh my gosh, there has been nobody.
I will say about this before we kind of dive into Galaxy Hunters. This has been, they did this 2 years ago, and if you look at it, it's it's Derek from Board Game Spotlight.
Right.
And it's the 2 years ago one.
Right.
And then it's Man vs. Meeple, and it was Ryan and Jeremy. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see. I'm sure a lot of it carried over, and I get why they did it, but I wonder if that has affected the overall campaign at all. Well, there's a couple things I want to say about Galaxy.
Okay, all right. So first up, we have Galaxy Hunters. This is by IDW Games. It's going to be for 2 to 4 players. It's going to play in about 30 minutes per a player. This is a kind of like a worker placement game, but you are building up these mechs. And I love how people keep on comparing this to a Pacific Rim sort of thing. But it's what? Evangelion more. That's the roots of it. That's the roots. I think we had this discussion the other day too.
We did, because we were talking about New Osaka, which was also kind of a mechy type feel, which this seems like a more streamlined, approachable version of that, where you focus more on the mechs and where your mechs and ships are going.
Who doesn't like mechs though?
I love mechs.
Who doesn't like mechs?
I am pro mech. I would actually, I know Japan built a mech. I want the U.S. to build a mech, and I want there to be a big mech fight.
I would go into a mech right now. If it meant that I had to get all suited up and have neuro things implanted in my brain and stuff, I would do that right now just to be inside of a giant mech and stomp around.
Now, the question is, if you were in a mech, what would be the first thing you would do? Would you just start stomping stuff?
I would definitely start stomping stuff. I would definitely go right towards the city and just start stomping it up, because that's what you do in a mech. I apologize, everybody. Whoever was in that city, I just apologize, okay? You're going to have the fake city off to the side that I run after.
So Dennis is asking a good question. What if you could never leave the mech, though? So you enter the mech, but then you're locked down in it?
Oh, that's a little bit more troublesome. I'm okay with like neural implants and then like possibly being tracked for the rest of my life off of that, as long as I can get out of it. I still want to get out of the mech and like do out of the mech things.
We got a wild fatal paper cut and an Nosferatu clan both showed up.
Hello,
Clown.
Everyone. Hi, how are you doing?
I said Nosferatu clan.
This is also one of the few titles by IDW Games that does not have a giant IP
Right.
behind
so
it.
That is kind of something I wanted to bring up. I think one of the reasons that this one is struggling is because it's not tied to an IP.
It's not Ninja Turtles. It's not Batman.
Right.
It's not.
If you put Pacific Rim on this, like if they just bought that rights, right? Because that's kind of what IDW does. They do a lot of cool games, but they usually have some kind of entity tied to it. This would have a lot more traction, I think. I think one of the things, I would say the only thing I don't like about this campaign, because there's only one thing I don't like about it, and this is coming from a marketing background. There just didn't seem to be a lot of pre-marketing or hype before the game was just dropped. Like, it just kind of was there. Like, I saw an ad for it, and then it was, like, on Kickstarter, like, the next day. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was, like, I think it was in Board Game Spotlight. I saw it or something where it was, like, it was on the banner or something like that. Or maybe it was Derek posting, like, hey, we covered this 2 years ago. It's back on Kickstarter. Something like that where I saw it. But it was just, like, a one and done. I didn't see it, like, well, let's talk about, like, Frosthaven, right? We saw Frosthaven everywhere for like a month.
That's true.
I got out like my Frosted Flakes and there was Frosthaven, you know, like on the side of it. It was everywhere.
Frosthaven Flakes?
Yeah, it was Frosthaven Flakes. You don't remember that? I saved the box. It was everywhere. So this one didn't seem to show up everywhere. And I wonder if that's because they're used to the IP selling it. Like, we recently covered like the Umbrella Academy. It was a game that we did a playthrough on. All the views were drawn because of people that already liked the IP, went out and searching for that game, and then they shared it with their friends and their different groups and everything. So I wonder if that's why this one, it hasn't done as well as you would expect.
Petter says, very pro-mech. Let's see here. The Bushwhacker for the win. Mech Warrior number 4 says Battle Cry. Let's see here. Okay, I might back Galaxy Hunters here, says Fatal Paper Cut. I thought you might be interested in that one as well. Yeah. And Petter says, IDW basically always has their comic book properties that they mainly use. Right. Absolutely. But why wouldn't you? And especially right now when having a giant IP behind something is like super great.
Remember the Frosthaven Flakes? They're great. And then you just freeze it up. Yeah, that seems accurate with Frosthaven. Yeah, so this is amazing, right? So we talked about New Osaka. We talked about this one. I feel like New Osaka leans more Euro-y than this one does because it has more building up of the corporation, everything like that. Where this one's just straight up like, this reminds me more of like The Mandalorian, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm a lone bounty hunter, but your bounties are these mutants. And so you're going out there and you can, you know, hunt mutants to save planets, or you can hunt mutants for profit. It's really up to you. A little bit of both.
For notoriety.
No judgment.
For notoriety.
No judgment here, right? You can do it Serenity style. You can go out there, do a little bit of Firefly action, and some of it's because you want to be a big dang hero, and some of it's because, you know, you just want a little bit of cash, need some credits, right? But it seems more streamlined, right? And you can just jump into it. It has a couple things that I really enjoy. I mean, besides the theme, right? I think we all know I like the theme of mechs, right? I even watched Pacific Rim 2.
Okay.
Hold on. This is how much I like mechs. I watched Pacific Rim 2 twice. And it wasn't good the first time, and I watched it again just to make sure it wasn't good.
Who doesn't like mechs? Like in our chat right now, who doesn't like mechs? Mechs are like 100% win. They're mechs. Like what? Why wouldn't you like a mech? I'm already talking bad about the people who don't like mechs in our chat.
Yeah, you need to calm down. So another thing that I like about this is that it is essentially a worker placement, right? Because you're trying to go to the different planets. And then when you fight things, there's some cool things that happen. It's just a straight up fight. Like, you know how much shield you have. You know how much weapons you have. You can just plan it out. There's no dice where you're like, oh no, I messed up and I got killed. I can enjoy it to a certain degree, but it's nice to also have some games that don't have it because I know that makes it easier for you to play. And so it's nice to go like, okay, I've got shields, I can take this fight, or going, maybe I shouldn't fight this. And then when they come in, the monsters come in, they block worker placement spots. So you're like, I gotta kick this I gotta kick this mutant out, harvest its DNA for purposes.
For reasons.
And then do it. I've always said that if this was a different world, and I wasn't like a cowboy or a knight or something, I would definitely be a mech warrior, cruise around the galaxy, buying upgrades, building really cool ships, hunting things down, because I get bored very easily, and I like hunting things, right? So
that's because
I'm pro hunting mutants, I guess.
We grew up with, oh gosh, what was it? The robot with all the different ones, like the 5 different ones. I can't remember the name all of a sudden.
You're talking about like Power Rangers?
No,
You're talking about Voltron?
Yes.
Okay.
That's because we all grew up with Voltron. We just want to be part of a mech. I love Dennis's comment too. I could be literally getting crushed by mech and still love that mech so much. You're like, you look so cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, this was how I wanted to die. It was in my dream journal.
Honestly, that'd be like an epic death too. If you were just like there punching the mech and then you got crushed by it, you would go like out like a superstar right there. Okay, that's how you do it.
We could have hit up my brother's house and had 15 Megazords set up or 30 Megazords set up for this. We messed up. Big
I also like the fact that in this when you're putting together your mech and everything, you are drafting it. So like one person has pilots, one person has mechs, and then you're trading the cards and stuff, and you're like drafting your mech as you put it together.
Right, and your pilot has 4 different like skills, right, or special abilities, and then your robot or your mech that you mash it up with only has like 2 lines. So like you might like all of them, but your robot's going to determine if you get like the 2 in the middle or like the first and the third act one. So you have to make sure you think of that, like, hey, I'm getting to pick my pilot first, but I might not get all 4 of these. I'm only going to get 2 out of the 4, and you got to make sure that you also think about that when you're getting your mech, right?
Nosferatu, way to go. Hang out with the undead. What happened to you? Cancer? Nah, bro. Mech crushed.
Yeah.
Mech crushed. Yeah, you will be epic for the rest of your undead life. Epic.
So it's kind of like mech crush, but also crush on mechs, right?
Oh, you have a mech crush, but also crushed by mechs.
I heart mechs, and a mech crushed my heart.
And mechs crushed my heart, yeah.
Oh. It's true. Yeah, I love the mech pilot combo, like Petter's saying. This looks like a really fun game. And this is how much I like this game. You guys know me. I've really leaned towards base pledges. I'm like, but if you get the $100 pledge, you get an extra mech. So I'm like,
dun, dun, dun.
And the extra mech you get, the extra pilot you get is from a different planet, and so he doesn't even give a crap about radiation, so he uses his energy like as a weapon instead. And so like that's kind of cool too, where you're just like, it makes me feel like you're playing like Fallout. You're like a ghoul or something. You're like, bring on the radiation. You're using that to like power you up.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so Petter says, I love the mech pilot combo.
There you go. Mech Crush, double entendre. That needs to be a game. It could be the title of the game. It's like a mixture of Love Letter and Fog of Love, but also this game. But then
also like mechs and getting together and picking the mech.
Yeah,
right,
so you have to play like a Fog of Love style game in order to be compatible with your mech. And then you like love/destroy things with your mech. There you go.
Titan falling for you. Oh my God, Dennis, you gotta make that game now. Titan falling for you.
What's your mech meet cute? So we were walking along and I bumped into this giant mech.
Oh, I thought they were gonna crush me.
His name was the Pulverizer.
But then they crushed my heart instead.
He picked up my wallet, handed it to me, and gave me some flowers that he was carrying because he knew he'd meet me someday.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I'm gonna need like a moment.
You need a moment? So yeah, I'm like super excited about this one. I am really shocked though that this one didn't actually hasn't funded yet.
Oh, it's not funded?
No, it's at 40 out of 80K.
What?
That's what I'm telling you.
What?
Yeah, it's at 40 out of 80K. So they're like halfway there.
Oh my gosh.
Do you need it?
Yes.
Do you need it?
Let's talk about the price for this game. The
Okay.
base price for this game here is $79.
Yes.
On this here, you're getting, what all are you getting? You're getting the base game, stretch goal
4
box.
mechs, 4 pilots. That's without the stretch goals.
Okay, without the stretch goals. But there are stretch goals involved in here where you're getting...
when you go to the upgraded level with the expansion, it gives you different ways to hunt, which does add some dice, I think, so you can do some kind of different, riskier hunts with bigger mutants and stuff. And then you get a 5th player, and you get a 5th mech and a 5th pilot. And that's got the pilot that I was talking about.
Okay.
The one that, is cool with radiation. He's just like, whatevs.
Okay, I got it.
Radiation for breakfast.
I love these player boards. These player boards look fantastic here. It looks like you're in an actual mech suit. Like you see all the stuff,
Here it is. Here's your profile.
Cool.
I like long walks on the beach, looking for a funny woman with a good sense of humor who likes crushing things as a giant mech. Kaiju hunting is a plus. There you go.
Oh my gosh, $20 different. Why wouldn't you go deluxe?
Yeah, I think. Just because, since a lot of the variability of this game is going to be where the things are placed out, and then your mech plus your pilot combo, who doesn't want more options? That's like playing Frosthaven, and they're like, you can either have 4 heroes, or you could have 12 heroes. You're going to go for the 12 hero option. You want more options.
This looks like it would be an Ameritrash sort of game, or an Amerithrash sort of game, but it's really not, because you have lots of worker placement, you have some, building in it, where you're building your mechs and stuff.
And I think a big part of Amerithrash a lot of times is there is more luck involved.
Right, and there's like no real luck involved.
It's not a lot, yeah.
Which I like. No, I like all those things, though.
Doesn't have, like, it doesn't have to be all luck, but there can be a dice element somewhere in it.
Well, they took the heavy theme that you would see from an Amerithrash game and put it on a game that has very strategic placement on it. And I really, really like that. Like, instead of just coming out of the gate and being like, we're going to make a dice placement game with this. No, they've come out of the gate and gone, all right, you're going to go ahead and build them up by doing some drafting in the beginning. And then you're also then going to be doing worker placement.
Would this game just simply be better if you were going to different planets to get different types of bread? And then you use that bread to power your spaceship and feed your colony? No? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I guess you could stay on Jaeger to meet you.
God.
Come on. Come on.
You and Fatal.
Who didn't love Gypsy Danger? Gypsy Danger was awesome. And it had my boy Jax from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. Come on, Gypsy Danger. He was in Green Street Hooligans, too. Very good movie. I recommend.
Petter says, limited luck in this game is so much theme, which is great. Yes. And so games like these you don't see very often because they usually lean heavy one side or heavy the other side.
I think
and it's a nice meet in the middle.
I think this is what I thought that Starship Samurai game was going to be more like, but it wasn't.
And Starship Samurai was super area control-ish on it. And yeah, no. I would say the same. If you were going into Starship Samurai, and I thought of that too whenever I saw this.
I saw a bunch of mechs and stuff, and I was like, yeah, mechs.
These awesome mechs are going to fight, and it's going to be so cool, and they're going to take over territories. And this is probably the real game that you were thinking of in your mind before you played the other one and thought, oh, this is just all area control.
Right, I thought it was this. And I like this, and people have some of their people's mechs run on grains. So instead of brains, it's like grains.
Are those the vegan mechs?
Yeah, that's what they are. His name's Celiac.
Oh, Mr. Ozdu says, I fully back this game. It's bright and beautiful. Yes, I love all the colors in it. The color is so colorful and so beautiful.
Funny side note, if you consider it funny, we actually have a really good friend whose kid has celiac, and then our dog was allergic to grain for like the longest time. Like if she got cat food, her face would swell up like she was stung by bees.
I know.
So like we are very like 100% all about this gluten life. I mean,
all about the gluten life, just for like
we have
other
gluten,
people,
but like we understand the need for non-gluten for some people. It is not a joke.
Totally understandable. The worst too is having a tiny child
Toddler.
And then the dog. And having the tiny child like try to feed the dog gluten things.
Well, to be fair, our kid would walk around the house with her Cheerios like she was in the Players Club, just like making it rain. And then the dog would get excited, and then I'd have to be like, yeah, we'd have to take our dog and take it over to my mom's house.
Well, how is it just making it?
Just like sprinkling Cheerios out like she was like a baller. And then we'd have to take the dog over to my mom's house because my mom could actually like not feed the dog like bread, and it was fine. It's craziness. It's craziness.
Heal up. No bread dresses, though. Everything needs at least one negative.
One bread dress. At least one.
Okay, do we believe in the December 2020 delivery date? Okay.
Only because it's IDW, and they've done a whole bunch of really big, heavy projects. So if they say a time frame, I believe that they could probably get it done.
This is the second time that they've launched this campaign, right?
Right. So they've got all the assets and stuff probably already built out. It's probably just a matter of, like, once they meet their goal, they hit the ship button, right?
Yeah, they've probably already gone through and
they've done all the hard work.
Finished this game, created all of the mechs and everything, created everything needed for the game, and been able to refine that since the previous Kickstarter on this. So, yes, I'm going to say that's actually probably not a bad date for that. You know, December of 2020, if they've already gone through all of this, and they probably, like Dr. Gloryhogg said, probably already have all the assets.
Right, exactly. And I think, well, so Nostradamus was saying, what if our kid was vegan and didn't eat wheat? That does make it tough. I know some people that are vegan and also like don't do wheat and stuff, and it is very difficult to find food.
Adoption is an option.
Vegan is much easier. But besides food-powered mechs, I don't know. I'm excited about this one. I'm in on this one. I want to do the $100 pledge. Just do it.
Really? You want to do the $100 pledge on this?
Yeah,
like, I'm down for
I'm just worried that it won't like
$79 pledge.
I want that extra guy though. I think that extra guy makes all the difference. That extra guy like eats
You just
radiation.
really want the extra guy.
Yeah, and then I think like what's the mech's name? Like Smokestack or something? I don't know, something crazy like that.
I don't know. I'm liking this Prometheus one. Like, that's a good callback on that. Crimson Red, Beast Strike, all the guys. All right, so Petter says at least 2 months further down the line, like February of 2021, The only thing I'm seeing here, that's actually a pretty good estimate, Petter, if they do fall off track because of like Chinese New Year and stuff like that going into there.
That's true. I forgot all about that.
So if this campaign does not deliver in December, then yes, they are probably definitely going to get pushed out until that probably end February mark at least.
Crimson red is mostly blue. Well, you know what? It's a play on words, okay? Save a paper cut. All right.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I saw the shipping fees. They're like $30.
No.
Yeah, it is. It is like $30.
Alan, no.
Alan, you know why we don't talk about shipping.
How dare you?
It makes everything worse.
It makes me so sad.
Yeah, what are you trying to do, Alan? Do you want this game to fund or not? Don't be talking about shipping. All right, shipping just happens in some
Turn the knife slowly, Alan. No, thank you so much, Alan, for making sure to bring up shipping fees, because it does matter, and it does make your decision. What it does help our viewers make the decision, because we're not here to go ahead and tell you exactly you should be purchasing this game. No, we're here to tell you all the facts about the game, and then all of you get to decide if you want to purchase the game. But actually,
this week I'm going to tell everybody to buy 2 games. So,
oh, okay.
So that's awkward.
All right.
Space Giants.
Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back this campaign?
Yes. No, I'm excited about this one. I think this is kind of what I was kind of wanting out of New Osaka, but more streamlined, easier to get to the table. I think it's going to be exciting to show people. If you tell people with worker placement, they're going to want to play it. It's got cool mechs. You get to do like the cool like drafting aspect of it. I like worker place. Yeah, I'm just in.
Okay.
And I like that the different rounds have different things happen. So like there can be an invasion. There's certain rounds where like you'll have to pay for everything. So there's a lot of really cool different things going on with this. But you can still plan it ahead of time.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of really great mechanics happening in this game. I'm excited to see where it goes. It seems like it's pretty streamlined, all put together. Like, I would love to have this on my table right now. But I think I personally would rather do the $79 pledge on it. But I know Dr. Gloryhogg's really, really excited about the extra mix. So we'll see. We'll see. Let us know in chat if you are backing this campaign.
You go in. If you're going to go for mechs, you go all in on mechs.
Well, I'm interested to know if you are backing it, if you're backing it at the base pledge or the extra pledge where you're going to get the extra mech. Like, is that extra mech?
Listen, I'm no mathematicician, but if 100 of us all back it at that $100 price, I think we fund, right?
They got you. They got you, Dr. Gloryhogg. That's what they do, okay? Yeah. Next step, we have Deck of Wonders.
Oh, this one's next? Okay.
This is by Furia Games. This is for 1 to 2 players. It should last about 15 minutes. This I'm going to leave actually to you, Dr. Gloryhogg, because I know you're kind of excited about this.
So Deck of Wonders is like the most interesting thing we're covering this week, by far. So Deck of Wonders
you can't just
is
say
a
that.
solo, I can. It's a solo game, right? And what's really cool is the idea that you steal like this magical artifact from like Fate, right? And so, you know, that's probably a bad idea. It's like stealing the heart of Tafiti. You don't do that. That's just bad play. Come on.
Rude
is
what it is.
You don't
just rude.
Don't go around just stealing stuff, right? You don't take Maleficent's wings. Hashtag Disney spoilers. I've been watching Disney. There's just things you don't do. And you don't steal things from Fate because, you know, Fate is like Lady Luck. It's bad business for everybody. Fate controls everything.
You know what?
So what's interesting about this game is it's an all-in-one game. It's like one deck. So what you do is you draw your cards, and all these really cool cards you have in your hand have opposite sides on them. So if you've got them, you play the good side, obviously. And if the enemy draws them, because they draw out of the exact same deck, just like you do, the enemy gets them, and they get the bad side of it. And so what you're doing is you're combating against the enemy, which is very easily done. So like the AI is done very easily because you're just flipping out the cards and resolving them. But I really like that duality where you're like, oh, this is a really cool troll that I have in my thing. But then when he's on the other side, you're like, oh, no, this troll is like in trouble. Like, this is not good. I don't want to see this troll. Or like Lightning Storm can be good depending on if you have it on your side or on their side. It's very interesting. I like the idea of it being a solo game. There is a co-op option, I believe. But it's a solo game that you get to play. You build the deck. When you're building your deck, like I said, you're building the positives and the negative into your deck all together. And then when you're fighting against it, there's like legacy elements where you can like add stickers and unlock stuff. So like one of the things you get to do is like unlock the other enemies in this game by playing through it. And you're never really destroying stuff because you're adding stickers and everything. So you're just kind of modifying things. And I like that the art is really cool where it's like friendly on one side and on the other side it's not. So even if there's like this huge raging minotaur or something, like he's all super cool and cuddly on the other side when you just spin it around. I think it's like a really super interesting idea.
Like there's a lot of thought that went into the art and the duality of the cards in this.
Right.
And I really, really like that as well.
Yeah, the artist killed it on this.
So pretty.
What is her name? I don't remember what her name is. So
Dennis might be able to tell us who the name of the artist.
Well,
I can't remember.
It's definitely down in the bottom. So I have to look into more of her work because this is really cool. I like the idea that it's a solo game that you can play. It takes you about 15 minutes or so to play it. 10
quick.
minutes.
You can go through.
So the idea, and not to steal your thunder there, Dennis, but
Lauren Brown is the artist on
If you
this.
watch the video, his inspiration is he likes heavier games.
Yes.
But with young kids, how do you do it, right? And so I think we've all been there. There was a reason why I only played stuff like King of Tokyo when the kid was little, because you just didn't have time for anything that was longer or more complex than that. So the idea that you can have this kind of cool, complex deck building game that you're playing while your kid is sleeping in 15 minutes, and you can put it away, and then you can upgrade things, and you can like unlock other decks to play and mix in things and have completely different deck lists to play. Like one of the things they unlocked was Oops, All Trolls. So like the deck list is a bunch of trolls. I think that's hilarious. It reminds me of like the Captain Crunch, like oops, all berries, and there's oops, all marshmallows. I think that was really cool. So I just like the overall idea of this. I like Legacy. I like card games, of course. This is an actual card game. This isn't like Arkwright.
Not like Arkwright, the card
which was
game.
Which was like a super sneaky Euro that attacked me last night. I got destroyed
Your
by
brain
Arkwright.
just straight up melted during that game.
Yeah. So I really kind of got like a really cool vibe off of this one. I'm just really excited about it. I like just everything about it. There's nothing bad I have to say about this one.
Let's see here. So we have, what was it? I was looking at something. Oh, okay. So Nosferatu was saying, with the type of art, I want the cards to be tarot size, which would actually be pretty amazing. Those would be really pretty. Like, if you, down the line, when this game does really well, if you can do tarot size cards with like the gold foiled pieces on it, oh my gosh.
That's like the super ultimate deluxe edition.
It would look so pretty.
This did something that happened in another game that we play that we like, which is there's a signature card that you can get that's signed by the creator, and then it brings in like different gameplay based off it too. So there's like a different pledge level with that. So I thought that was interesting too. And confirmed here, oops, all mechs for the first time. Oops, all mechs. There's mechs going to be in it now. I think that's great. And it's, some kind of like close to my heart. First time creator, it's a husband, a wife that's doing like the marketing and everything, right? Which is like a reverse of us because you're like the business head and I do the marketing. And then an artist, right? Like, so it's like a 3-person team on this. I think that's like really cool.
Absolutely. Well, you get into that.
I'm going to have my kid draw all of our art.
First time creator. So the starting pledge on this here was $35, and I want to look at the delivery date on this. Hold on, let's go down to the
Which with
delivery
it being
date.
mostly
November
cards,
2021. Okay, so that's actually insanely realistic for this. Okay, absolutely, that is not bad at all. I was hoping that the delivery date was not like, Jen Fura, Superwoman. Aw.
Is she watching? Does she know? I think the best thing ever was, so when I contacted, Deck of Wonder, or I was like, hey, we're going to be doing this show. He was like, cool, I think my kids will be asleep then. And I was like, I remember that life.
Well, that's how we started out in playing more board games. Like, we played board games before, but whenever we had our kid whenever we sat down at home and we were like, all right, well, we can't really get involved in our MMORPGs and video games.
Or RPGs, because we were playing a lot of really long RPGs, like late into the night and stuff.
We couldn't spend 4 hours away from the house doing RPGs, and that's when we started getting more involved in board games. And so to see another parent who understands that, and there's other people like Nosferatu who actually, announced their baby, who's going to have a baby. Like,
I think Heather's got a little one in the house.
Right, your life just changes, and having a game like this that you can go ahead and play in the moment, that's easy to get into, easy to put together and everything, is super exciting. And just being able to see somebody like advocating for that, I really like that. I'm really excited about that. And I do like the duality of the cards a lot. That's my favorite part of it as well.
Oh, definitely. I personally, I like the idea of the legacy aspect of it and like unlocking stuff.
There was somebody in chat though that was like, I think it was Alan going, nope, no legacy stickers for me.
I don't think, if I recall, I don't think Alan plays a lot of legacy games. Well, we do. We love legacy games.
Nosferatu says, super scared. Yes, you know what? Nosferatu, everybody is, okay? That just is, it's part of the shtick. That's how it happens, okay?
Yeah, you gotta be scared until you have the first one, and then you realize they basically bounce, so you're
Dr.
fine.
Gloryhogg went so slow in their car on the drive home that they went up
I like
a
how you say
speed
they.
bump
So
and then like back down. So slow.
So I was leaving the hospital, right, and I'm in my stick shift, Mazda 3, and I hit the speed bump very slowly because I didn't want to wake up the baby or jostle it. I didn't want its neck to fall off or something. And I just couldn't quite get enough speed to go over the speed bump. And I rolled back down, and then I had to hit it harder, but I felt bad. I was like, sorry, baby. Boom. You know, like it was bad. It was bad.
So, you know what? Dennis brings up another thing. You mentioned women reviewers. Okay, so that's right. I wanted to totally bring that up. This was one of the people that had included women reviewers in their channel, which was super, super important. Okay, I believe, I'm trying to remember, there was a couple of them this time around, but I think it was like maybe a duo or something. I'm gonna have to look back down here.
Pro tip, don't shake them, Nosferatu. I used to make a joke that babies are like soda, it's more fun if you shake them, but do not shake a baby.
Don't shake a baby, no.
That does not make them stop.
And it also makes them puke sometimes, okay?
Yeah, so Dennis brings up a good point, which is like when you first leave the hospital, you're like, wait, I'm allowed to do that? So they let us go like a day early, and I was like, wait, like now? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, but we just take it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, but what? Who comes with me? Who comes with me?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited about this game. I think that the price is reasonable. I love the art in it. I love that it's a quick 15-minute game to play. Dr. Gloryhogg, do you have anything? Oh, I love that they went outside of their box and actually seeked out other reviewers than just the normal.
Most of the reviewers on this were like smaller reviewers, which I thought was cool.
I know.
Right? I didn't think I saw really anybody that was like over 1,000 subscribers.
And I really, really liked that because it gives you more perspective.
Yeah.
As far as like, okay, I can click on this many different ones and just actually bigger community reach. I know hitting up a big channel.
Hungry Gamer was really good. I really liked his thoughts on this one. And then I actually literally subscribed to somebody off of the Die of the Dead game. Like I
did too.
Did you really? Off of Die of the Dead? Off of Die of the Dead? For real?
I did.
I wonder if it's the same person.
You know what? There's actually a few people that I went through on here, and I subscribed to those people specifically because of these Kickstarters, and I was like, oh my gosh, I missed this person, or I haven't seen this person before. And I went down through all the reviews, and I was like, okay, there's definitely a bunch of people in here that I'm missing and that I like. And so, yeah, they got some of my subs on it. Like, it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's true. There also is a print and play pledge level, which is always nice because some people just want it now. And some people have, like, good printers and such. I don't own a printer. So
no, I don't.
I got to go down to Office Max or something.
Shaken, not stirred. No.
And I'll tell you what. You do not want to fax anything from Office Max. If you need to fax something, you're going to spend $20 on 8 pages. But that's hashtag another story.
I didn't even make it down to the add-ons. You can get.
You can get a playmat.
Oh, okay.
With a Pixie Cavalry playmat.
I was looking at the card sleeves and stuff. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of really cool stuff on this one. You can straight up just get
art prints. I want art prints.
So like every week we try to bring in something that's kind of like either like a first timer or something that's really unique, and I think this definitely fulfills both of those for sure. And the idea behind the legacies is a non-destruction legacy. So you're not tearing up your cards. You can if you want to, if you want to back a couple levels of it. If you want to back like 3 or 4 copies, start tearing up your cards. Go for it.
All right, everyone. So Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back this game?
Yes, I definitely would. This is the other one I really want to back. So
this is the other one you really want to back?
Spoilers, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited about the overall, just the whole concept of this thing is really exciting. And then the story behind it is always really cool too. So like that was an extra little feather. I was already excited by it, and then like watched the video. I was like, all right, this is cool. This is something I want to support.
So I pretty much let you run on this one because I knew you were gonna like it so much and go in so in depth into this. So I would back this purely off of just you wanting to back it. Because,
I want to.
Yeah, because
I would play this.
You were super excited about it.
And I don't play a lot of solo games, and I'm 100% done on this one. Like I want to play it like real bad.
$55 gets you the signature collection. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this. And like one of the freebies, they unlocked an art book for everybody just because it funded right away.
Ryan says, I'm backing this with approval from my wife. Aw, yeah, this would probably actually be an excellent game for you and Katarina to play, Ryan, because it will be a faster game, so she won't get like flustered by having to sit there and wait the entire time through a longer game. Yeah, absolutely. This is actually perfect for like bringing a non-gamer into your gaming life, you know, because it's not going to overwhelm them with how long you have to sit at the table and play with this, okay?
Yeah.
So leave us in the comments if you all are going to back this game. Moving on here.
I think we know where I stand.
Moving on here.
Oh, we're doing Die of the Dead now.
I'm so excited. I'm so
So you
excited.
subscribed to somebody off of this?
I'm so
Specifically off of this campaign? Is that what you're saying?
Excited. Yes, I did.
Okay, I want you to tell me who it is because I'm curious now.
Well,
if you
I'm going to
scroll
have to,
down
like, if I see them when I scroll down, I'll let you know, but...
I'm curious if it's the same person, if we both saw their video and thought, oh, this is really good.
All right, so this is Die of the Dead by Radical 8 Games. This is for 2 to 5 players and 45 minutes. And, you know, I apologize. I almost forgot to thank Dennis Furia for showing up in chat today. We always appreciate it whenever the publishers show up in chat, and I almost forgot to tell you that. Thank you so much.
And not only did he show up, he was dropping some, like, mad mech jokes early on. And I didn't even realize that it was Dennis until I saw the Furia
and
stuff.
And I was like, oh, yeah. You're talking about your game.
That makes sense. Okay.
No, but we really appreciate you showing up to answer questions for our viewers in chat. That makes a huge difference for us. It makes a huge difference for our viewers, and I love seeing that. Thank you so much, okay? So, Die of the Dead here. This is really, really interesting. So, the love that they put into this game and making sure that it correctly produced the theme of Dia de los Muertos, and that they called upon actually people
of that culture.
Of that culture and heritage to help with the game and the art of the game and everything, and making sure that their game was not just like, hey, we're going to do a Die of the Dead game with some skulls on it. It's going to be great, and we're going to name it after this.
Right, they had like a Mexican artist and everything. They got somebody from the culture to go over it, which is always very interesting because I still remember, like, kind of a side story. One point in time at my work, somebody did a whole big, you know, Day of the Dead set up for Halloween, and then somebody made a complaint saying that it was like, oh, this is sacrilegious and everything, and it, like, you know, offends me and everything. And I was like, it's part of, like, Christianity. It's just part of Christianity from Mexico. Like, it's not. It was very interesting to see because a lot of people just aren't aware of other cultures and.
Nice to meet you. Wow.
And kind of like what they're about and everything, right? And Day of the Dead is like very interesting. It's a super interesting like holiday.
Oh yeah, no, I love Dia de los Muertos.
And I love Coco, and I love that stupid dog in it because we had a Mexican. Yeah, we had a Mexican hairless, a Zolo Acuente, and it was an amazing dog.
Totally, like I super love the whole like souls coming back on the Day of the Dead to like break the barrier and then come back and visit.
You lay down a path so that your ancestors can find their way to your home, so you can communicate with them and gain their knowledge. And
a beautiful like way to remember like the dead and going and visiting with them at their graves and stuff, and like it makes me tear up thinking about it.
This game is like really interesting too because the actual gameplay of it, it's very simple, right? You've got your cards, you got your 4 coffins, right, that you kind of put out, your caskets.
And the cards have special like abilities on them.
Right, and the cards stay in one spot.
Right.
And then you have like some cards that are based off the tokens that you can get. And like those you can change, like very Quacks of Quellenberg with, where they have 2 sides. So you can change what the actual tokens do. But the coffins themselves move, like, all the time.
Yes.
And that's what you're doing on your turn, is you're trying to move the coffins, because essentially you're trying to get to that very last coffin, and then if you win out on that last coffin, you get to put one of your die on the actual 3D steps, and then kind of like, and that's how you win, is by getting your dice up those steps and everything. So it's very interesting. So like, you can mess with people, you can add die, take away die, manipulate die. There's all kinds of like really interesting things that you do with it. It's very much a push your luck, take that, moving things around.
But also memory, because you're trying to seed the coffins with certain things. And basically, when you get to that final coffin where you shake them up and you open it up, and then the dice in there that are the highest go onto the stairs, you want to get all your dice, your colored dice, onto the stairs in order to get all your souls up to the earth, right? And
no, the coffins are not dice towers. You actually put the dice in there and then you shake them. And then you open it up to see who wins the results.
Yeah, absolutely. And, gosh, I just got distracted. I just got distracted on where I was going with this. So you're trying to seed the coffins. Yeah. And then on that final coffin, you're trying to get majority control in there. So whenever you roll the dice, hopefully more of your higher dice will go ahead and go up those stairs. So as you're doing stuff with all these coffins, you're trying to remember what's in all of them while also manipulating everything to get to that final thing. And then hopefully you've made the right combination of stuff in there to increase your odds.
Right, and then
there's
there's like that push and pull, because if you've got a bunch of die in there and then you roll like the same number, they get like negated too. So like you also don't want to have like 15 die in that last one, and then you shake them all, and then you're like, oh, I got a bunch of 5s, and then all those 5s go away, right?
I'm excited. And I love the fact that they used all the tokens. They have the bread, they have incense, they have candle, and the flowers and stuff like that. Like, everything is themed so perfectly in this game. This is so much fun. This game is fun, everyone. Like, so fun. Inside the coffins need art too, says Fatal Paper Cut. Let's see here.
Word.
Seriously, 3 games already that I'd love to back. We'll see if I do any. This one here starts at $27.
I like Ryan's thing. Yeah, it looks amazing. And the art, chef's kiss. I don't know why chef's kiss kills me so much right now, but it's killing me. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, no, this is a really, really interesting game. It's like,
I think it fills a very specific niche too, where it's kind of like that lighter push your luck game, but there's a lot of like manipulation, moving around, so it's easy to get into, but there's a lot of interaction between players.
Nosferatu says that at first glance, I thought it was a knockoff of Dice Masters, but it looks good and is original. And I agree, Nosferatu. When I first looked at this game, I was like, like, what is this? Like, I was already going into it at a kind of negative view
with the dice.
Because I was like, this is like a bunch of dice. This is like push your luck dice, whatever game. And then as I started reading about this and I saw all the love and care that they put into it, and then I saw the mechanics of the game, I was like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this game. Like, I'm going to have to say, this game was actually my favorite.
Is it really?
This one is my favorite of the week, everyone, because I thought they went above and beyond in the theming of the game. It had unique mechanics that were fun, that we're going to get to the table. I love this. I loved this game so much. It looks so fantastic. It looks amazing. Okay, so we have Shadow Online Gaming. Funny, I watched an interview with the creator of this. He said how they really researched the culture and lore for the game, which were some really nice details.
Yeah,
and I agree.
From what I know of the holiday, because we are in Arizona, so there's a lot of culture that kind of seeps over the border back and forth. It seems like it's pretty accurate. Obviously, I've never been in a big Day of the Dead celebration, but it seems accurate from what I know about it from the side. I like a lot about this. I feel like this is a really good game for people that enjoy like Quacks of Quellenberg, kind of like one of those faster paced games that are like really easy to get into and play. I'm not going to back it. And so
what?
The reason why
this. Okay, sorry,
go ahead. To talk about
Go ahead.
I like everything about this. I just don't think it's a style of game that I would play a lot.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's just has nothing to do with the game itself. This is my differing opinion. I think I like a lot of the things it has going for it, but it's not the style of game I really enjoy. I am one of the few people that do not enjoy Quacks of Quellenberg. I think it's too push your luck, and I don't enjoy push your luck as much as most people would think. I'm okay with a little die rolling, but if there's too much push your luck, it's just a pass for me. I don't feel like this fits a specific niche that I need in our collection. So that's the only reason why I pass on it, but I'm glad that it's doing well, and I hope more people get it. And I think if that's your game group likes to play these types of games and it gets to the table a lot, that's great. I always push our game group more towards something like Galaxy Hunters, where it's like bigger, heavier, longer games.
This is also a fantastic price for this game.
Yes.
$27 with all the dice that they have in this. And one of the unlock things is like having the laser engraved dice, which is really super fantastic. Like, I really want the laser engraved dice really bad. So, yeah. I mean,
I like everything about it. I could see getting this just to put it up on the shelf. But as far as me actually playing it or taking it to somebody else's house to show it to them, I just don't think this is one that I'd be as excited to play like long term.
So let's see here. Okay, here in New Mexico, this looks like going into Old Town downtown.
Yeah, I've been through New Mexico a couple times, and yes, very much so. There's a lot of good culture there.
Nosferatu says, it seems like a great light gaming, drinking party game. Now, I agree. This is a party game. Like, this is a game that you get to the table at family gatherings. You get to the table when you're just wanting something lighter, but you're still wanting something that has some strategicness to it. You're wanting stand-up moments with, because whenever you roll those dice and then you open up the casket, you're like, no, like, I totally loaded that up, what the heck? You're gonna get those type of exciting moments with this game. This is very much like a game you're going to get for exciting gamelay and
that's
introducing people into the hobby in a very fun way.
I'm tired of introducing people.
How dare you? Sir, how dare you? We always need more gamers, okay?
No, I agree. Like I said, I think it's one that would be fun for a while, but I don't think it's one that I would hang on to and play a whole bunch. But that's not a knock on the game. You have to know what game works for you, right? So, like, I hope that everybody comes here to get our opinions, but then they also think through the lens of their own gaming group what they're going to play a lot of. And I feel like this does fill a similar niche that other games fill that I just don't need a lot of, personally.
Absolutely. So, like, Petter says, at Nosferatu, I agree, this is the game you play with friends hanging out, but you don't want your Cards Against Humanity, you don't want your apples to apples type. Yeah, you should not be offending anybody with this sort of stuff. It's not going to be an overly sexualized weird thing that happens when you're trying to get family together because of stuff. It's just...
Which is the weirdest thing ever. Have you ever played, like, Cards Against Humanity with family? Like, a bunch of aunts and uncles did it one time, and I was like, this is really weird, guys. You guys used to, like, watch me when I was little. This is weird.
To play that game with you. I don't need to be explaining what some of these cards are.
To, like, your grandma.
To my grandma.
Yeah.
No.
Pass.
Yeah,
Pass. Pass. But I do think it's I think it's going to be a very fun game for where it's at. But, you know, everyone's got different tastes. Like, there's a lot of games that you enjoy, like abstract games that I don't enjoy, and I like the theme of this one a lot, but I really want to play, like, Deck of Wonders, and I really want to play Galaxy Hunter, so those are my picks for this week.
They also went through the extra step, too, of making not just, like, dice boxes or something like that. They made the boxes casket-shaped, and they made that awesome, like, little stair tier.
Yeah, no, it's going to have a great table presence, for sure.
This is going to be so much fun to play. I think, Dr. Gloryhogg, I think you're wrong, and I want to back this game. Look at me.
I definitely wouldn't be upset having it, but it's just not one that I would play a ton of. Because I don't. All right. And I'm also viewing everything through the lens of we haven't played a casual game with anybody other than the two of us for 7-8 months now.
I'm thinking in the sense that
like what year is this?
I have people every single,
right. You do play with a lot of people.
Year that I'm going to go ahead and play this game with, like during that October-y period there. I have people in the house, like little
right, like
player
you play
3
games with your mom and with the kid.
And the mom.
Which I do
Glory
also.
Mom.
But I think that's kind of the big thing. I think you have to know what kind of game groups are free. Because the last time I played a game, like outside the house, I think was with Alan in January. And I might have played a game or two with Greg, but it was like him coming over to our house to play or something like that. I haven't played like a game forever.
Nosferatu says, I'm not playing Cards Against Humanity with any family. I don't need to know that much about them, right? Save yourself the trouble. Don't make that mistake, okay?
Cards Against Humanity definitely had its place, but it was a couple years ago, and I don't want to go back to that place.
Oh, by the way, great pictures of the Harry Potter cup. Thank you, Alan. I took a bunch of pictures, I think it was, I don't know, sometime this week, and so I have some killer board game pictures to release. So just watch Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. I'm so excited with how well they turned out. So
Nosferatu says that they're going to back Deck of Wonders for sure, passing on Galaxy Hunters for now, and then maybe retail Die of the Dead.
Okay.
I can see a retailing Die of the Dead, but it's also a game company that's only put out one other game, which was Forks, and so I don't know if it's going to hit retail or not. But this is one I can see doing very well in retail because this is 100% the type of game that if I was walking through looking for something, I could see picking up.
Definitely, yeah. No,
right.
I'm really excited about
but when
this
I come
game.
to Kickstarter, I come for Chef's Kiss.
How is this not Chef's Kiss? They did everything right. They did everything right.
Yeah, they did. I agree.
Oh my god.
They did a lot of things right.
Are you gonna make me fight you in this stream? Are you gonna make me fight you? Ah! All right, back to our show. Okay, so I'm going to back this. Dr. Gloryhogg is not. Let us know in the chat if all of you are going to back it.
Let me know if I'm wrong. Don't at me, but at me. I don't care.
I believe I saw Nosferatu saying maybe once it gets to retail and everything. So let us know in chat if you guys are going to be backing this. I think this is like an out-of-the-park win. Like, I was most excited about it.
That's fair.
Lastly, we have...
Everybody wants different things.
This one's weird because it's 4 different ones. It's Biblios.
Let me tell you the gambit you're running in this one, right? So you're going from being a monk in a roll and write game to a 2-person like Sherpa game where you're collecting animals, like you're like trapping them and using them for fur and meat. Then to going to like a butterfly game where you are like trying to like like developments have ruined the migration pattern of butterflies. You're trying to help them out there. And then what was the other game? The other game is you're like mining, doing like a mining colony. I think like on another planet. If you want to talk about a wide spread of games, this is a wide spread of games. You go from like hunting animals to being like, oh, but the butterflies. It's very weird for me, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, I was like, okay, so you're hunting these animals, right? Which makes sense. If you live in the remote mountains, you probably need to hunt to survive. To being like, now you're living in the city and you're like, man, our neighbors just put in like one of those storage sheds that just messed up the butterfly habitat. Let's help those little guys out. It's very unique. So many different realms.
People in chat being like, fight, fight, fight. And egging us on.
I like how people are like, hey, Dr. Glory, I'd like to have a game this week. Yeah, let her have a game. Let's talk about stuff.
I usually went out. I have never backed a die campaign from Kickstarter. How many die campaigns have we backed? Quite a few.
Yep.
Quite a few.
So, real talk though, she controls the Kickstarter campaign, so ultimately, if we don't come to a conclusion, she has the final say, and I'm 100% fine with that.
Dun, dun, dun. So this first one here, this is 4 games, which Dr. Gloryhough was alluding to, are very, very different. This Biblios one is a roll and write style game with...
Which I thought you would be really excited about.
Some marketing. I am really excited about this one. I enjoy,
some
marketing sort of stuff.
I only enjoy, I think, 2 roll and writes.
Mining Colony, which looks amazing because it has your polyomino set up here where you're actually mining, you're trying to put them together and everything. Like, that looks amazing. There was no game in here that I was just like, meh.
When do you get to hunt the butterflies?
Mepper, how are you doing?
That's a good call. What is up, Mepper? So I think...
Nanga Parabat, which was all about animals with cute little animal meeples.
Which is a 2-player game.
Collect them.
So it's very strategic, like trying to collect them and then having it like cascade and cause like other things happening.
Not a remake of Biblios. Biblios
was one of the first games he made.
This
and then
one
he made a Biblios
is a
dice game.
Dice game.
No, this one is a roll and write.
Oh, I'm sorry. This one is a roll and write. So that's right. Biblios did have a dice game, so it's like a 3rd rendition of it.
Right, but this one has a lot of cool. It has a bunch of interesting things in it, right? Because you're like a monk and you're trying to prove your piousness. So you're having like a piousness battle with other monks, and you're like, I'm the most pious. And he's like, I'm the most pious. And then you're like, I'm the piousest.
Is it I'm the piousest of them all?
Let them have piousness.
And then you can give them pie, and then they can have pie while being pious.
It's a wide range of games, but what I think is cool about this is that you can back one or all or combinations, like you have options.
And the butterfly one is a 2nd edition of it. So they have the 1st edition, 2nd edition, kind of streamlines a little bit of stuff in it, fixes some things, and makes the game better. Beautiful art in it, though.
And like with the roll and write, that's kind of interesting is like you roll your dice, and then you have the option to re-roll all of them or none of them, or like just one die at a time. So there's some very interesting stuff in the roll and write, but that being said, once again, I don't really enjoy roll and writes. There's actually only one roll and write that I've actually actively tried to get you to play, and that's it. And that's just Fleet the Dice game.
I love Fleet the Dice game.
There's no other.
I've never roll and write.
And I like Welcome to, and I like Welcome to Dino World, but like I've never gone out of my way to be like, would you play these with me? Where I've gone out of my way to bring Fleet with us on vacation to play.
So Nosferatu said, I'm not pious enough for this.
It's true.
Cannot play it.
We know this. We don't judge here, though, Nosferatu.
And this is by
we don't judge.
Dr. Finn Games.
Another doctor? Well, then I'm all in.
Well.
Let's do it then.
Makes like lots of little tiny games that are just very solid, smaller games.
Usually fall into like that filler category, right? But then a lot of people really like them. Like people we know, like Vassal and Game Boy Geek
Suzanne
and
everything. Yeah,
really like his games. So like that says something. I don't have experience with any of his games at this point.
Mepper says this is one that I'll be backing. I just have to decide how many of the games I want. I want to get at least Mining Colonies and Biblios.
Mining Colonies look good. I like that one.
Those 2 were at the top of my list, and this is $23 to start. So if you want one game, it's $23, and then it goes up in increments after that. But whenever, I have to say, like, I also liked this one a lot. Not just because of the meeples, because there's animal meeples, but...
You like a good solid 2-player game.
I do. Nanga Parabat. And that's just kind of a fun, like, name to say, honestly.
Yes, Nagna Parabat. That's what you said, Nagna Parabat?
He isn't a professor, Dr. Admiral like you, Dr. Gloryhogg.
Not everybody can also have the chops to make it in the military and still be a doctor, right?
That's true. That's very, very true.
It's very difficult.
Except for doctors in the military. Except for that.
Except for that small group. Except for that small group. But doctors in the military are weird, though. They get like a whole new set of rules that they get to have.
But this is the same price for the Dice of the Dead. Dice of the Dead seemed more practical and fun for me. Ooh, bringing up some really, really good
Battlecry is
insight
bringing up
there.
something about name dropping. I'm not name
Name
dropping, sir.
dropper.
I don't personally know Tom Vassell. Greg knows Tom Vassell on a much closer level. Game Boy Geek knows him. I know Game Boy Geek. He dropped a game off at our house yesterday. So we're tight like that. Deal with it. Deal with it. Listen, if you want us to play awesome games like Small World of Warcraft, then I gotta drop those names.
You gotta drop in the Game Boy Geek name,
I gotta drop the Game Boy Geek name, right? So we've known Dan for like a really long time and everything.
We have.
It's about time that I start making some profit off of this.
You gotta drop it, right? So 6 degrees of Tom Vassell for you.
Really? Yeah. No, I don't know Tom Vassell. She could probably actually get him on the phone. I couldn't.
Well, yeah.
I don't have his phone number. You do have his
work
phone
with
number.
them, so I have to. Like, I have their phone number.
There's different levels of people. Okay. I have direct access to Dan King. That's about it. And
which
Greg.
you actually just got like only maybe 4 months ago or something.
That's also true. Because he always communicated through you, so there was like no need.
Yeah, so you were like always upset about it. You're like, well, Dan King doesn't know me.
I was like, I don't know that guy. But recently we have started playing a lot more games together and stuff like that. Because I've gone to his house a couple times, but you know, when you're having a big get together, you don't always play games with like everybody, right?
You can't always.
And so I would always end up playing games with Greg and stuff and everybody else. And sometimes Dan wasn't actually sitting down to play games; he was hosting the whole thing. So.
Okay, so let's see here. We have. I was looking at something. Or was it Games of Fire? You got me at Animal Meeples. Okay, Alan. So, speaking of Dan, he's not responding to my request to update my address.
# he's moving too. So that might be
exactly.
why.
He is in the middle of moving, so he just did like about a week ago or something. He's in transition of stuff. Also, he doesn't handle the shipping of that. It's another entity, so he probably has to email somebody on that. But he is full up, so I would just send him another line on that. It's hard for me to get a hold of him right now, and I work with him, so.
Yeah, he is very busy, just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
I've been busy. It's been hard to get a hold of me.
Tom's on vacation. Let's not ruin the Jolly Green Giants vacation with our nonsense. So I shouldn't just message him right now.
If you say his name too much, he'll appear.
Tom Vassell. No, you have to be in the mirror when you say it.
I will tell you the craziest thing about Tom Vassell is I didn't realize how tall he was until I met him. And I was like, I'm like,
so tall.
This bro is tall. That was the first thing I said. I was like, this dude is tall. I'm like, what? Because I'm not short. I'm 6'1", but I was like, this dude is tall.
Somebody had mentioned that the other day, too, with you, right? How you were so short or something?
So I was talking to somebody, and they were like, I called somebody short. I'm like, oh, that's a shorter guy. Yeah, I've met him. And he was like, oh, short. How tall are you? And I was like, I'm 6'1". But it's because I'm down in this chair, right? If I was
sitting on a pillow, everyone.
Level of her, I would sit here, and it's not good for the stream.
I'm sitting on a pillow.
She's a full head. She's a full head shorter than me.
Just as a note, like here's the gigantic pillow that I sit on.
All right, so you're sitting on that, right? Let me sit on your chair so we can get. If I sat on your chair, I'm like right here.
This is us just sitting together, totally different.
It's about a head difference, right? But I've got I've got my old man Army infantry back, so I got my fancy chair that I lean back in.
See, now we're level again.
Well, and I also sit forward like this too, so.
Dr. Gloryhogg, so short.
He appeared in my living room. Please advise. So I would offer him pizza. And maybe a little bit of pie. Maybe a dice game. Play a dice game with him, and then he might go. He might go.
You could also talk about estates, and then he'll go, ugh, and then leave.
Yes, because he doesn't like estates. So if you do that,
you can also do that.
We love estates, so.
Everybody's
got weird opinions. Yes.
What do you think about this campaign?
I think this campaign is very interesting. There wasn't any game in here in particular that just jumped out at me as a need to have, but I also don't have a lot of experience with Dr. Finn. I think that there's a game in here for everybody, though. There's probably a game in here for everybody. I was most excited, I think, by the Mining Colony.
I really liked Mining Colony as well. I mean, the top 3 are my favorites, and I'm a sucker for those roll and write style games. I feel like
which is just, that's the thing. Like, I think because it has like an auction in it too, which is really unique for roll and write. But I just don't like roll and writes in general. So I'm a really hard sell.
Also, the diet.
I'm like # on instant pass whenever I see roll and write in a title, but I don't because I know she likes it. I know a lot of you like roll and writes too.
Deck of Wonders, Die of the Dead, and then this campaign right here, 100% added female reviewers, and I believe like people of color too in this particular one as well. There was lots of people of color. Like, they had a bunch of different reviewers, which I'm really, really happy to say this week. I'm so happy to say that.
Nice.
Like, there's a plethora of people who have looked at these games. So if you are interested in one particular game, you can go on down, and there's going to be like 4 reviews or something like that on it.
You never told me who you subscribe to off of Die of the Dead.
We're going to have to talk about it later, because I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go back.
I think the name was, I'm going to look. Who I subscribe
So
to?
let's see here. Okay, it's not
unsubscribe from
Tom. It says doppelganger. Do not feed him key lime pie after midnight. Oh,
Yeah, don't do that.
Messed up. Putter says, my wife and I are 1 foot difference in height. That is
a difference.
probably pretty close,
I've
right?
seen Derek and Lizzie from Board Game Spotlight are like that too, because Derek is slightly taller than me, I think by like an inch, and then Lizzie is shorter than you, so it's even more dramatic.
And Battle Cry's upset that we broke the magic of us sitting together here, being at the same height.
Sorry. So the funny thing is, when we did that video for Game Boy Geek, like, she stood and I actually had my knee on a chair and I was kind of standing like this, like,
you were standing.
And that's why I was like this in the video.
You were at a very odd.
I had my knee on the chair she's sitting on, minus the pillow. And I was doing that just because otherwise, when I was standing up next to her, like, my head was out of the frame.
I couldn't. You would basically be seeing like this much of me, and then all of Dr. Gloryhogg,
or vice versa.
And we had to have him like stand back further. It was a mess.
And then, although I have a really well-defined chest, I just think that, I mean, I basically, you guys know The Rock, right? I showed him how to do a push-up. Like, I showed him that first one. So I'm like really ripped, but I don't like to brag.
So yeah, I definitely want to back Die of the Dead. I definitely want to back something out of the 4 set. I liked the mining colonies as well as the Biblios roll and write. I was excited about that one.
I like to tell you that you're wrong, because it's all about Deck of Wonders and then Galaxy Hunter.
Fighting today. There's the fighting words today, everyone. What happened? What happened?
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Did somebody come up and poop in your Cheerios this morning? What happened?
Our dog did. She was sick last night.
Oh, no.
I like my dice like I like my women. Acrylic.
Still,
you're weird.
fight. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for everybody hanging out with us today. If you're new to our channel, make sure to like and subscribe to our content as we talk about Kickstarters, and then we play Kickstarters, which we will be playing
Uprising
on Sunday.
Class Curse of the Emperor. I think that's what it's called otherwise. But yeah, we're always talking about stuff. And then we have some other ones coming up even on Game Boy Geek. We're going to be playing Tales of Conflict, which should be hitting Kickstarter.
That's right. Which
on Tuesday.
Tales of Conflict is going to have a promo in it of Wesley, my cat. It's like right there.
You got it. I hope we didn't break the magic, Battle Cry, but that is a picture of a cat, not an actual vampire cat that's standing in a window behind us.
Oh my god, that would be amazing if I made it look like a little window back there and like she was like peeking in.
Just peeking in.
Yeah, now that's in my mind. Now that's in my mind for later.
Oh.
Is there anything else? Thank you so much for all of our viewers showing up today.
Yeah, there's always something, right? Well, every Friday, and then as of right now, it's like every Thursday and Sunday we have a new playthrough. So there's lots of stuff coming.
Yeah, and thank you for all of you showing up today. We really appreciate all of the comments that we get. You are always entertaining to us. So entertaining. I love it. We know it's not a vampire cat. When show up in the mirrored cameras, obviously. Oh.
Actually, these are mirrorless cameras.
Why are you so smart? No.
These are mirrorless cameras.
So much burn.
That's the only thing I know about these right now.
That they're just mirrorless. That's it.
Wow.
Thank you so much for the stream. Absolutely. We really appreciate everybody showing up and hanging out with us. And we will be back next week with more Kickstarters. Anything else? We're backing Die of the Dead.
Support your local back community. I don't know. I got nothing.
We'll see all of you later. Bye.
Bye.